Maddie. How's everybody's day today? I was hoping to get, of course, a lot more done than I did this morning, but that's the way it goes, I guess. Hello, Jenny. How are you doing? I did have fun putting this card together. Hey, Ellie. When I started it, I kind of went a whole different direction than I ended up, but I like how it ended up, so that's good. Hey, Dan, how are you? Hello, Debbie. I have used these butterflies once before on a live. I really like them. There are coordinating stamps. You have a cat on your lap, so that's good. So your cat can just relax. Hello, Christy. And I think your cat enjoys crafting and the crafting scene. It is a little warmer for you in Montreal today. That's good, Diane. It's actually a little warmer here in Calgary as well the last few days, which have been nice because it was cold there for a while. You're working on a never-ending card, Ellie. Those are so cool. Well, crafting, and whether you're crafting or you're just sitting and relaxing or snuggling with somebody. Hello, Lorraine. It's a good Thursday. So this is the card we're going to make today. It is a thank you card, and I hadn't actually used this die yet. So I guess this could qualify as something I could post for you guys in the challenge for January in the Scrap Shotz paper crafting group. Our challenge for January is use something new or do a new technique, or it could be just new to you, not, specifically new on the scene, and create something and share it with us in the Scrap Shotz paper crafting group, and we would love to see what you have. So this thank you die, I had picked it up a while ago. It still is in the shop at Scrap Shotz, but it is the first time, I think, that I've used it. The butterflies we're going to use today, and I just realized I forgot my heat gun, so I'm going to run down and get it because we need it for this technique. So I'm going to grab that. You guys can chat for a minute. My mind, and then I think I went down and I grabbed something else. So I'm just going to plug this in. And we have played around with that stamping foam before too. It is really cool. So lots you can do with that. Okay. Did I receive the Altenew Golden Days stamp and foil? In the shop, I'm not sure, Debbie. Let me just have a look. We can definitely find out for you. I'm gonna have a look. I haven't even seen that one, but I'm not sure what Sandy has ordered at this moment. And I know shipping is crazy. So it's called Golden Days. Sorry, you can probably see my arm in the camera. I don't see anything in the shop right now, but Debbie I'll find out for you and get someone to get back to you on that to see whether we're getting that in. All right, you used your Colorado Craft Snuggle Bunny stamp yesterday. Oh, that sounds so cute. Colorado Craft Company has some really cute stuff. And all right, so I think we will get started. So we've got, this is the card we're making. We've got the Lawn Fawn die. I stenciled all these butterflies, which is fun because you can do them all at once. The stamp is actually in the shop as well if you're looking for it. Small butterflies, it's what it's called. The Anita Jerem, they are so sweet, aren't they? They look like the storybook characters. You emailed last week, no reply. Okay, I'll find out for you, Debbie. So these, when you do the full sheet, there's 4 stencils, and you're gonna see, because we're gonna do them, they make a full page of butterflies, and then you have a whole bunch to cut out. Then we've got the stamping foam. This comes in a pack of 4. So you have lots of stamping foam. And I actually use this Altenew folder, Alocasia, and that may not be how you say it. Thanks, Roberta. Thanks, Diane. Yeah, I kind of liked, I had colored them originally and done like some greens and yellows, but I felt like I really like the tone-on-tone kind of look better for some reason, so I redid them. So we've got this 3D folder, and we're using that for our foam as well as adding it to the background. It's called stamping foam, Debbie, and just wait till you see what it does. It's so cool. Then we're going to embellish with some Tonic Nouveau Dream Drops. These ones are the Frosted Lake. There's a bunch of them in the shop. And the sequin mix, this sequin mix in particular isn't in the shop, but there's lots of sequins, and there's other picket fence sequin mixes. This is called Spring Fling. So we'll move this out of the way, and then for the colors that we use today, I use Salvage Patina Oxide, Speckled Egg ink, and I really like how this dried. So when you put it on, you'll see like it kind of, it's a dye ink, but it dried so smoothly. And Peacock Feathers, Oxide, and then I use the Black Soot. Yeah, there's so many embossing folders that we have, or that I have. And of course, there's tons of ways. There's tons of videos on the stamping foam and ideas, but I thought that worked really well because I was doing the embossing folder in the background. My youngest daughter, Erica, is 10, and she made these last night, so I thought I would show you just because it was really cute. Turquoise, I love turquoise as well. So this, she did it herself. She heated up the foam, and then as it's heated up, you can press things into it essentially. So she did this with a cover, and then she added some inks and water. Then this one was a tree embossing folder, which I think looks super cool. So she did that one. And then this one was like a leafy one. So that was what a 10-year-old came up with, and I thought they were really cute. And I did want to show you these. We made these, one of these cards, I can't remember which one. I think maybe we made this one on screen with the leftover pieces from the page kit we did last week. So last week was, we made the page from the Simple Stories Winter Days page kit, and these are all leftover pieces, plus we used a Vicky Booten Fernwood stencil behind and some oxides. Yeah, well done, Erica. She is very creative. And she and I just added some foam tape. We made one of these on camera. I think this was it. We used some sticker books. And so this just shows you when you have those kits or any leftover ephemera, what you can do with them. So I did put a picture on the Scrap Shotz Instagram if you want to have a quick, like a close-up look. There's a picture of each of them. This one I really like. But they just turned out really cute, and you could give this as a set and give that for a teacher gift or a friend gift or something. Hi, Stacy. Stacy, maybe you can answer. Debbie English wanted to know if we ordered the Altenew, was it Golden Days? Does that sound like something you know? Now this flip book I had just briefly shown you. This is the Simple Stories. Yeah, the wreath could be anything really. This is the Howdy flip book, and I'm going to post a video. The sticker book that I used for these, they came from the Vicki Boutin, either Fernwood or Color Study. So some of them, I'm not sure which was which, but I think this was Color Study. I think this was the Fernwood one. So just some like regular kind of greetings. This I think was Fernwood, but the color matched. So I thought they went. So this Howdy, I'm going to post a video. Golden Days is out of stock on the Altenew website. Okay, so we wouldn't be able to get it until it was actually in stock. Thank you for answering that. Yeah, the sentiments are nice, and it's not, you know, specifically winter. It's just kind of hello or how are you or thinking of you. So this Howdy flip book is in the shop, and this is so cute. So I just wanted to give you guys a really quick look, but I am going to post a video, and then you can have close-ups and all that kind of thing. It comes with the flip book. It comes with the papers that you need to put it together. You have chipboard, stickers, you've got a sticker book, and it comes with the full instructions to tell you how to put everything together. And it's 4x6 is the flip book. Okay, so if you are looking for any, and I think Debbie said she did do that, maybe. If you're looking for any Altenew purchases, you can Scrap Shotz Sandy at scrapshotz.com and just list them, and then if she's placing an order, she can add those in. And just these, they're really cute, like the dimension that they add on, the way you add the pockets. And I always love that once you create these flip books, you have the instructions, and then you can use whatever other papers you have. But they are just really cute, and there's so many cute things you could do with these. Like if you had kids or grandkids, you could add in their photos. This is, I'm standing, so it's hard for me to put this in the way I'm standing. Anyway, it's a pocket. We'll get that in there after. So you're putting things together, making little pockets. You are adding the little stickers. So there's the big sticker sheet. And then I added my own twine, it is. And so yes, you could have, if you had pictures from Stampede, they would be cute. If you had little kids just fooling around, there's so many different sentiments that you could add to them. Add little things, ephemera, you could add so many fun pictures. You know, kids on their bikes, that kind of thing too, I think would be adorable. These are little tags in a pocket. So really, really cute. Love the way that they've just layered everything, and the line is really cute. So this is the Howdy flip book if you're looking for it in the shop. And this pretty much used up most everything. There was a few things left over, but they really made good use of this kit. So now we will do our project. So we've got this stamping foam. Let's show you guys this. It is so cool. So I've got, you want to pick out whatever you want to do the impression. Thanks Stacy. Hi Betty. Thanks Jenny. So whatever you feel like using as your impression, you can have that ready, because once you heat it, you're going to do that quite soon. Yes, you could totally do it in a girly way. Your son is steaming? Something with the internet, I believe you're saying. Let me see here. Just need to take a drink. Okay, so what we need our heat gun, we need our foam. This is stamping foam. It is in the shop. Comes 4 in a package. We're gonna use our heat gun. It comes without any impression, so it's gonna look like this. Oh yes, Betty, and I'm going to post a video as well. I'll get that done the next day or two. So turn your heat gun on. This, I already did the impression. I'm actually gonna zoom in a little bit so you can see. So this is the one that I used on the card, right here. So I'm redoing it. You could leave it for as long as you wanted, but I'm redoing it because I want to show you guys how to do it. So I'm trying to remember which side I did. I think I did this side. I guess we'll see afterwards. So you can see that magically those lines disappear. So I'm going over it until the lines disappear. I'm going to keep it moving. And it softens up. So I'm going to turn that off and press it down firmly onto whatever. Now you can press it onto a sweater. You can press it onto anything you want. But embossing folders have, you know, they already have nice texture on them. And then look how detailed that is. So pretty. So that will stay like this. It cools down fairly quickly, so you work quick. Isn't that neat? And then that will stay. You could keep it like that if you felt like you did something that you really loved. You can push stamps into this. There's literally so many things. I know, Debbie. So cool. So then we are going to take a piece of paper. So what we're going to do is we're going to ink this up and we're going to stamp it on. Zoom out a little bit there. So I'm going to take my inks, and I think the ones I used, I'm going to shut this window behind me because it's just kind of, I think that's better. Hello, Marilyn. So Salvage Patina, we are just going to add the ink directly on. So what I did, you could put it on whatever way that you wanted. I put it on the darker spot on one side. So this one is the darker, but you could do whatever you want. Now I don't want a real harsh line, even though we are going to be die cutting in the center of it. So it's going to be broken up a bit. And I want to show you that we can actually do this twice. So I'm taking my sponge. They're not in different sizes, which I think that different sizes is a good idea, but no, they are all this size. It's like, it's just a little bit bigger than 3 by 4. So all I did was rub my sponge over it so that I kind of blended those areas. And here, like if you felt like you had a little bit in one spot more than another. Okay, then for spraying, I'm gonna try and spray it so I don't spray all over my stuff, but so that you guys can still see it. So if you spray your water bottle a couple times, you can kind of see that you can decide how to spray so you get just a mist. So we just want to mist it. You don't want to soak it wet because you just want to, you can stamp it just like this, but I like the look of it just misted. So can you see kind of there? It's just lightly misted. Let's stamp that and see. We can always stamp it again. So then you can just press it down. You want to press it all over. I did grab this old Fisker's tool just to give me a really good base for pressing it. I don't think you have to, like, you know, give it CPR, right? I just want to make sure all the spots are pressed down firmly. Oh, that turned out really nice actually. So you can see those water droplets on it. You got a nice impression. It actually looks like it has dimension, even though it's just the stamped piece of paper. Isn't that cool? So think about, like, I mean, it's endless, right? So then you can take your mist again and mist it, and then you can have another impression. You can just, if you don't have a flat stamping block, you can just press it down with your hand and that works too. Or you could put, like, you know, this embossing folder over it. It's just, you're just getting pressure. It's more exciting than learning about embossing powders. They are still exciting. I'm still excited when I emboss something. And look, you've still got a really pretty impression. So you could decide whichever, and then I think you could probably even get another impression out of that. And to clean it off, you just take a wet wipe or rag and you just wipe it off. I'm not going to clean the whole thing off right now, or run it under water and it just wipes completely clean. Library book, yeah. Oh, so many things. Erica decided she wanted to do scissors, so she's going to do scissors later when she embosses. Okay, so then we're going to do, we didn't add a whole lot of water, so it doesn't take long to dry. We are going to just, you know what, I'm actually going to wait. Oh, here's my piece, so I know what I'm doing here. I just want to trim it. I'm just trimming it so that it's going to fit on my black piece. Did you guys see the little mini trimmer that Tim Holtz has out? I think there's still some in the shop. They look really, really neat. This is the bigger size up. Okay, we've got this. Just gonna grab a pencil. And all I'm doing is marking it so that I'm going to cut it in the right spot. And I think I can cut it right at that edge. All right. Hello, Melanie. A jelly plate. You wonder if it would work on a jelly plate. Well, what do you mean? I guess essentially, like if you put this on a jelly plate, you could pick up the ink from the jelly plate, and you could transfer that you could also, if you had something on the jelly plate that's creating, or sorry, if you had a stamp on this and then you put that in the ink that's on the jelly plate, that would transfer. I would say just, you know, I don't know what I'm doing here. I forgot how to cut or something. So, you know, play around and see, because you'll find out soon enough, like, does that work? Let's try it. Okay, so this is our little piece we're going to put right in the center. You have the stamp press. I've had this for so many years. Like, the stuff is rubbed off, and the little feet I've re-glued several times. I don't use it often, but it actually worked really well for that because I didn't have a large stamp press. So our thank you die. So this is the Lawn Fawn thank you. Big thank you, giant thank you. We are going to die cut this. You'd use it as a transferent to remove the paint or ink. I think it would, because you're using it, I mean, if it was a stamp and you're pressing it into the ink, you're going to get an impression. I think that's a great idea. That would be really cool to try. Okay, so I'm just going to eyeball this, and we're making a shadow layer. So we are cutting it out, but then we're going to use that cutout and move it over a little bit. I just got my Platinum 6 die cutting machine and I absolutely love it. So we want to keep all the little pieces to that. We also want to use this embossing folder that we used for stamping. And we want to emboss our background. So I found that one of these plates, I think depending on the folders you use, you have to figure out what works. So we're going to emboss the background, and I had used this before with some ink or something, so something a little bit transferred on my last card, but I don't think it was too noticeable, so. So we're going to put that in there. It is essentially the same. So this, I'll show you the machine. You can do all the same kind of things, but it's just put out by Spellbinders, and it's nice and small. So I had a Cuttlebug for years and years. I'm going to zoom out. Sandy was able to order this in for me, and I think she might have one available right now. So it just folds up, and it ends up being nice and tiny. So it just folds up. This is the size of it. It has a good weight to it. And then you just open it back up when you want to use it. Sorry, that kind of moved the camera. And then you've got your base. So it's similar to my Cuttlebug because it's like, I feel like it's nice and small. It can fit in a small space. The plates are about 6 by, let me measure them here. About 8 3/4. So it's a good size as well for the plates. And it also comes with the embossing mat and the embossing plate. So I'm just putting the base plate and then one of the cutting plates and then the embossing folder to do this folder. So depending on what your machine is, you can decide what works. The embossing folders, I find different companies have, they're just a little bit different. So sometimes you'll need a little shim. You still have your cuddle bug, nice. I used mine like years and years, but the plate finally broke. So we've got this, and you can see what amazing dimension. So that is the alocasia, but there's a bunch of different ones in the shop, and it's just gorgeous. So that's going to go right onto our background. And I thought by just keeping it white, so if you've been watching the last couple weeks, I've been trying to finish up my glue, and it finally finished. So this is still an older bottle that I had, but it was like half done. So I just took the tip off of the art glitter glue and put it on this bottle, which is, it's probably more than half full, but my other bottle finally finished, and I think I'd had it like forever. So we're gonna glue that on here. Yeah, the texture is amazing. So I love these great big leaves. They're so pretty. Okay, so our die cut here, we want to keep all the little pieces because we're going to put those back in. So we're going to punch that out, and then we'll stencil our butterfly. And I find this die cut machine has been amazing. Like it cuts things at just one pass. When, you know, my Cuttlebug was definitely well used. Some things that I'd have to go back and forth quite a few times. And this seems to cut it well on the first pass. So I've been really impressed. So I'm just being careful to get all these little pieces out, because that's going to go back in there. And there's not too many little pieces. I'm just making sure I didn't. So I just updated my Cuttlebug to the Spellbinders. Yes, the larger sizes of the art glitter glue, definitely worth investing in. Okay, so we've got all our little pieces, and when I was cutting a bunch out, I found that this is like the perfect little arrow, and so I would totally save those. We need to use it for this one, but other times that you're die cutting, I would totally save those and use those on your cards. I think arrows work for lots of things. So this is going to be glued directly down onto the black piece of cardstock. So Ranger had released this stamping foam years ago. I'm not sure if they changed it at all, but I know Simon Hurley has kind of re-released it and branded it. So this looks kind of funny right now. Hello, Tamara. Oh, work is crazy for you. Hello, Brenda. Thanks. Yeah, the colors I'm really liking. I feel like it's been so cold lately that I need just a little bit of spring. Okay, so these are our thank yous that we've die cut in black. Can zoom in a little bit here. And I'm just going to add some glue. This is definitely, I think, a lot more on the clean and simple side than I usually do. But of course I had to add, like, you know, the inking and that kind of thing. So once you add this in, then you can see where all your little cutout pieces are going to go in. So there's a few of those giant lawn fawn sayings. There's a Merry Christmas. I think there's a birthday. I'm not sure if it's sold out. I can't remember actually which way this goes. So I'm going to see. Okay, it actually goes like that. Not that it would matter tremendously, but one of those gem pickers, or this, I've got this pick me up thing. They work great for little tiny areas. And they work great for sequins. Large sentiments are really great, and they're very popular right now. And then I find these butterflies, because you can do a whole background. We're only using 3, but then you've got a whole bunch left over, and you could easily put them on another card and make something similar, or have them for other projects. Okay. So you could totally just leave it like this. If you felt like that's all you wanted to do, you could leave it. But we are going to create that shadow effect. And so we're going to put some glue, and we're going to glue 3 layers of this black. And this is actually a fairly thin cardstock. If you had a thicker one, you could probably just do 2. And I'm just layering it over. And I think I glued that a little bit off, that little tiny piece that went down, but that's going to be okay because we're going to scoot it over anyways. So what's everybody been up to this week? And doing any crafting? Seems like a lot of places are a little warmer. It's definitely warmer here. Kids are back at school. I'm not sure for how long, but I'm going to enjoy it while they are. There we go. And now we get to put this piece on, and this is where you get that shadow effect. So this can work for any of those nice big die cuts you have. And it's really easy to get a really cool effect. You're trying to work from home, you find it hard. Rosie's doing a layout. And Debbie wants to know if Diane wishes she has the full-size Gemini. I don't know. I don't know. I know, it's one of those things you don't want to miss out. You find it hard to work from home, Jenny, because you miss chatting, you know, like with people directly, or just the focus. Hello, Judy. And Lorraine is trying to get ahead at work. So you can go on vacation, nice. And well, that's okay. If you had fun messing it up, that's a good thing, Betty. Hello, Lorna. So look how cool this looks. You've still got the look of that pattern. So I was thinking originally of just putting a black die cut on, but I felt like it covered up so much the pattern that I was missing it. So I like this, that you can still see that it says thank you, but you have just a really cool effect and the pattern showing. Okay, let me fix this, didn't quite glue. We'll put on a little bit of foam tape. My roll is dwindling. I'm gonna have to get a new roll. This is the 3L Scrapbook Adhesives foam tape. Love it. I think, Jenny, you said that you maybe were using this. And it lasts a long time. I use a lot of foam tape. Okay, and I love that it peels off so easily. Okay, then we're going to just put that on the center. Again, if you felt like you wanted to stop here, you could stop, and if you wanted it to have more of a masculine feel, you could maybe add some embellishments that had more of a masculine feel. Yeah, once you stick it down, it's stuck, but if you lightly put it on something, you can still move it around, which is nice. All right, so let's get our stencil out because this stencil is really fun. So Pink Fresh has a bunch of different layering stencils. And this one is the small butterflies. So up in the corner, now I've got them all turned around, but let me find the right corner. Okay. So let me show you. Up in the corner, it says stencil 1. And here we've got, and you could do these, you can change the order. It's not like you have to do them in this order, but I would start them in this order, and then if you want to change them, you can. 1, 2, 3, and 4 for this one. Pink Fresh is like, their stuff is just beautiful. So for the first one, I'm lining up this little, they've got little marks in the corners. So this one and this one, and I'm lining it up fairly close. So I find it easy to kind of pick it up, get it lined up, and then I'll just tape it with a little piece of washi tape. And I feel like maybe I have this cut smaller. I'm just gonna check. No. Oh yes, that's why no, it's good. It's just me. So I just want to make sure that I don't have it too close to anything. Okay. So it's lined up there. I'm gonna grab this Wendy Becky Make Art Station, and if this is something you want to look at, then I don't think they're in the shop right now, but definitely you can email Sandy at scrapshotz.com, and I like it. I find it really handy, especially doing stenciling. You've never used a layering stencil, Judy, you are going to love it. So you kind of want to pick out, I know there's 4 stencils, and so I want 4 different colored inks. And again, I would start out as that and then go from there. If you wanted to mix up your inks and all that, you can do that. But I would just start at that point. Now I'm trying to figure out what, okay. So I think what I did was use the salvaged patina first. And this doesn't really matter, but I'm just trying to create them similar to what I created. So I know the black is going to be the last step, and these 3 blues which coordinate, and I think that you can't go wrong if you have similar colors. I think that's a really easy way to do something you're happy with. And then if you want to change up the colors, you can kind of go from there, but this is almost like a no-fail recipe. So salvage patina, this is the oxide. You can do inks or oxides, or if you wanted to do yellows, I would do like, you know, yellows and oranges kind of thing. Use their stencil and their misties. Yes, I've done that as well on my stamp press. So just use any kind of magnetic background. If you don't have a magnetic background, just tape your stencil to your background. And you like dimension? Yes. You can also, the way these are is that you're doing the stenciling and then you can cut them out and pop them up if you wanted to do that. And you can also go over your layers with, after they're inked, you can go over them with pastes and glitter. You could foil them, any of that kind of thing. And then you've got extra dimension on that layer. So we could ink this layer, we could do all our inking, and then we could come back and put this stencil back over, line it back up, and then we could go over with like a glitter paste, and anywhere where this stencil is going to be glittered, which gives you a little bit extra texture kind of thing. So that's an option as well. And this wing, I just try to be careful of not moving it around too much. Everything else is pretty sturdy. This one is just connected by these little tiny spots, so I'm just a little bit more careful on those, but everything else I'm doing more of a circular blending. So the brushes do really help when you're using the detailed stencils, because the bristles just get into the little areas. But if you only have the sponges, then just be conscious that you're getting into all those little areas. So you could go over this again and have a darker effect, or you could leave it as this. These are also really easy to, if you're doing a bunch of them, then take it off of this one and line it up with the next one. So you can just rinse this, you can wipe it. Distress ink comes off really easy. If you were using an ink that doesn't wipe right off, then if you add a little bit of rubbing alcohol, it will come right off. Now this is stencil number 2. So again, I'm kind of lining it up to start with the registration, that kind of mark, but then I'm not going to worry too much about it. I'm actually looking at the stamps, at the stenciled image that's on there, and I'm just shifting it so that it looks pretty much, if this one's lined up and this one's lined up, you know that it's going to be fine. So this one I did with the peacock feathers. And you can use the same brush or you can change your brush. And if I'm using the same one, then I usually just wipe it off on a cloth or a wipe and then just go to my next color. And you can wash them, but really I find just wiping them off, or if you have if you have a damp cloth and then wipe it on a dry cloth, you're fine. So this one here, I think it was the next color. Even if it wasn't, it'll still be fine. And we just do the same thing. So this is kind of a really relaxing part of this whole card. You almost don't even have to think after you picked your colors. I think it would be nice to do a bunch, so do some blues, do some pinks in different pink colors, do some yellow butterflies, and then cut them all out, and then you can mix and match them. And that was really quick. So this is our second layer, and you can see how it's coming together really nicely. The colors just give you that subtle difference. Then we're going with the ink, and the ink is interesting because I'll use this one for the ink, but you don't have to have different brushes for your oxides and inks. Just wipe them off in between, and then you can go back and forth. It doesn't matter. You just don't want to take something that's full of an oxide and rub it onto your ink, because then it will get on your ink pad. So again, is the Make Art matte glass. It's actually metal, Debbie. So it's a metal base, and I'll show you after. It's got this ruler that's magnetic. It comes with the 4. There's a smaller one as well. This was the, I think, 12 by 12. And then the other side is just plain with no grid. So you can spray on it, wipe it down, you can heat on it. So this is the stencil number 3. And I'm just, again, lining up the stenciling more so than looking at those marks now. Just shifting it slightly till you get it so it's pretty much lined up. Layering stencils are definitely a lot of fun. I have another floral one that I need to get out. That was really pretty. Okay, so this is the Speckled Egg ink, and when you put the inks on as opposed to the oxide, so the oxide have more of a smooth, chalky appearance, and when this first goes on, it looks a little bit blotchy, but as it dries so nice and smooth. They did a really great job making all these butterfly designs. They're all different, but they're beautiful. So the stamp that goes with this in the shop, you can then take the stamp if you want and stamp over, or you could pre-stamp and then stencil your image, so you can coordinate them. But as you see, I'm only using the stencil and then cutting it out, and you still get a beautiful image. You just get added stamped detail with the stamps. So depending on what you're looking for. And I find I tend to add a little bit more of the ink when I'm doing an ink versus an oxide. But even if you did it super light, I just wanted to show you it here, like it still looks really nice. Okay, so that's our 3rd layer. Looks so pretty. Almost, it looks like a painted effect, I think. And then the last layer is going to be the body details. And if you wanted to, just making sure I've got this all lined up. If you wanted to, you could mask off, the body and do that in a black and have this, have the extra part on the wings. You could have that a different color, or you could do, you don't have to do black for the body. You could do a darker blue or another color. Or you could even put that gel over it, the duo gel, and then let that dry and do foiling, and then you'd have that last layer would be a foiled effect. Yeah, it's so neat to see that, hey? The smoothness after it sits. So this is the black soot. And we'll just do this. Well, I just happen to have more of the coordinating inks in the Distress line, but whatever line you have, you can use, or you can mix and match them. Lots of different options. And I just found, I did a different color, well, I was saying I did different colors for the first one, and I should have brought it up so I could show you, but I felt like it didn't, you know, flow very well. So I just like the look of the black, and I think especially because I have that black matte on the thank you. I felt like it just looked better for me, but I think you need to do whatever makes you happy. So what is everybody up to this weekend coming? It's getting close to the weekend. Gray and blue would be, oh, very nice, a sympathy card. That is a good idea, Debbie. What is the gel? Oh, you love hot foil. Is it just it's the pop? Yes. So the gel is the Duo Gel Thermoweb Duo Gel, and maybe Rosie you can link that in case anybody's wondering. So it's a gel that you can put on like a paste. You can put over your stencil, you let it dry, it turns clear, and we do have lots of videos on, because I've used it a lot, on the video page of the Scrap Shotz Facebook page. And once it's dry, you can add the deco foil foils, and you can use it with pressure or you can use it with heat. You don't need to have a laminator. You can either use a laminator or you can just run it through your die cut machine, and the pressure actually adheres the foil to wherever that gel was. It's very, very cool. The gel almost becomes an adhesive, but you do let the gel dry. I usually let it dry like overnight. Okay, so here's these butterflies, and they're so pretty. How did you I don't know. It's so exciting. So here's the butterflies, really pretty. Like, they look to me like an embellishment from a die cut pack. So then you're just going to trim around them. So we've got these ones that I've already cut out, so we'll use some of these. So here's our card, and all I did, thanks Debbie, all I did was kind of bend them a little bit. This is a thicker cardstock, so I'm just bending them to give them some dimension. So whichever ones you want to put on, and we could even cut that one there to make it a half one similar to this, or we could just cut that. Thanks, Betty. So let's put this one on. And I find with the glue, you just let it sit for a minute. Now the nice thing is that if you want to move it, you have some wiggle time. And yes, I think, Debbie, like you were saying, the gray and blue would be really nice for a masculine card. And if we wanted to put that third butterfly, or we could just keep it as two. So that was the one here. Let's trim this guy and just, then he can sit in there. So just by bending it a little bit, you're adding the dimension. Okay, and then we have our little sequin mix here. So this is picket fence, but there's lots of beautiful sequins or whatever gems that you have. And I know I had the end to that pokey thing. This is what happens when you sit down and you have like a 2-foot crafting area, then you amazingly lose stuff. I don't even know how. All right, so usually what I'm doing if I'm putting sequins on is I'm just putting them on almost in a triangular pattern. And this little, the Tim Holtz little pokey thing that he has, that would work. And you can just put them on with your fingers. This just seems to be easier. So however they look nice. And then we could put a few up here. I know this is like watching paint dry, but there's no, I don't think there's like a quick way to add sequins. It's like, if you're in a hurry, you may as well just slow down, because sequins aren't going anywhere. Alright, we'll put this on, and then maybe we'll put one down here. Yeah, you may as well just slow down and enjoy the process. Okay, and here is the Frosted Lake Nouveau drops, and we'll just add a few little drops, and these kind of self-level out, so they will turn into lovely little drops once they dry. And you can add them wherever you want. You could add like some glitter drops too. There we go. So there's our card. Oh, that is a very good idea with the flower stamens, or drawing them on, yes. So there's a look at our pretty card. So we have two little thank you cards. They both look a little bit different, but definitely check out that stamping foam if that looks fun. And if it's something you want to try, it definitely is a lot of fun. Antennas, yes. Yes. Thanks, Rosie. All right, guys, I hope you have a wonderful week. I will see you next week, and we would love to see what you're working on in the Scrap Shotz paper crafting group, so share it with us there. You don't have Nouveau drops. Stickles are fantastic. Use them. I still love my stickles. Thanks, Judy. All right, guys. Have a great weekend. Have a good week next week, and I will see you later. Bye.